Hi, I'm Neil Schrader of Whitecap Kayak. I'm here at beautiful Upson Lake in northern Wisconsin, just south of the Apostle Islands, a most wonderful place to sea kayak. And I'm going to walk through a demonstration on some ways to get into your boat using the re-entry and roll. Now, of course, it helps to have a roll to begin with, but towards the end of the video, I'll also show a way that even if you don't have a good roll, you can use a paddle float to do a re-entry and roll. Let's get started on the demonstration on the water.
In order to learn the re-entry and roll, of course it helps to have a roll to begin with. So do a few rolls, warm up, then pop your spray skirt and get some water in your kayak, and you'll realize that it's not that hard to roll the kayak with water in the cockpit, but it does go a little slower, so you have to be a little more patient. Do a 360 and maybe do a 180, because this will be more typical of your re-entry and roll. Maybe even let go of the paddle a little bit and get familiar with that. So then do your wet exit, and whatever side you wet exit on, learn to do your re-entry and roll on that side. In this case, the right side. I hold onto my paddle with my left hand, or my non-sweep hand, and I hold on to the near side of the cockpit rim with that hand. I reach under with my other, in this case, sweep hand, and I face the stern. I step my feet into the seat, and I actually just walk right in till I'm seated. Reach with my sweep hand, do the sweep and hip snap and roll. Let's look at that in full motion. I grasp my paddle with my non-sweep hand and the near side of the cockpit rim. Reach over with the other hand, the sweep hand, look at the stern, step into the seat, and walk in. Reach with the sweep hand and do the roll. A lot of paddlers find it a little more natural to be facing the bow as you get back into the cockpit. For this, it's a little easier to keep your head out of the water and take your final breath a little later, but it also is a little harder to manage your paddle. So face the bow, wiggle your legs in until you're seated, and once you're seated, then grab onto your paddle. And in this case, sometimes people like to reach out to the paddle blade just to make sure it's oriented right. You can also do this on the opposite side. If you tend to, for example, wet exit and end up on the left side of your kayak, then learn to do the re-entry and roll on the left side. In this case, I'll hold onto the paddle and the near side of the cockpit with my right hand, reaching over with my left hand, step into the seat, walk in, reach the left hand over onto the paddle and do the sweep and hip snap. A real good way of doing this also is with the paddle float. If you have any type of hip snap or sense about doing a roll, but maybe it's a bit weak, or you are getting weak and can't seem to manage it, by putting a paddle float on, it almost becomes foolproof, and it becomes a very dependable way of getting back into your boat. All this is going to take practice, but hey, that's a big part of the fun of it. The re-entry and roll can be one of your most dependable self-rescues, and you'll find it's very reliable and just about as easy in rough water as it is in quiet water. Hopefully this will all help you to gain confidence as a sea kayak paddler. So get out, enjoy the sea, have fun, be safe, and always keep learning.